All right, guys, we're back. Let me send the link. Share. Okay, so we're on. I'm seeing one person in, so everybody will come in just now. So we're going to continue with the BCG matrix. We're going to run through these slides, and hopefully I can touch on. We have balance. Well, we have the mock business plan. But before, I'll leave that for last, and we'll do balance scorecard once we get time. Okay, so let's go. Continuing on the BCG matrix. Let me see how much people is inside. We have 4 people. Great. Right. So classification of these strategic business units. Remember, SBU is strategic business unit. Let me put that in the chat. SBU. All right. It looks at the market attractiveness and the business strength. Again, just a pictorial diagram of your question marks, your stars, your cash cows, and your dogs. Remember, in recap of just an hour ago, question marks are normal, question marks are good. Question marks should go into star. Question marks should become stars. And stars should become cows, cash cows. Dogs are the inevitable reality that a business unit may face. I can actually think, unless there's a real disruptor, that bread is always going to remain a cash cow. Who agrees? Can anyone disagree that bread for Kiss will always be a cash cow? And can anyone, I would like an answer from someone in class, can you think of a disruptive agent or a disruptive product that can throw bread off being a cash cow? Looking forward to your answers. That actually might be a good assignment question, or put that in your exam. So I'll consider that. So star strategies, I went through just now. We'll be going through it again. Is a leader in the expanding industry, generates large profits, continuously increases market share, is new on the experience curve. They're now learning as well. Requires investment to sustain growth. We talk about the problem child, the question marks. It always needs cash to improve its position. It's like when you're now starting, every single amount of revenue that isn't put back into repurchasing stock must be reinvested to grow your brand or to expand your assortment. Always needs cash. Slow progress on the experience curve. You can either increase sales and create your niche or niche market and become a star, or you leave the market altogether. This wasn't a good idea. Cash cows, leaders in demanding in a mature, declining industry, um, generate lots of funds and can actually produce lots of revenues and cash to fund stars, to fund question marks, and to make an attempt to get the dog out of being in the dog kennel. Dogs, low market share, slow progress on the learning curve. There are lots of cost disadvantages and very few growth opportunities. And you see point 4 on slide number 11. You decide whether you harvest or you divest with the dog. All right, so implications. Stars, they build. You can build on a star. A problem child, you either harvest it or build it. Harvest will take you out of the market completely. Not a dog, it will take you out of the market, or you build it into becoming a star. A cash cow, You hold your cash cow daily, and you must always have stock of your cash cows. Your cash cows must always be treated with care. Dogs, divest. Time to get rid of it. Move on. So the BCG matrix assumes a growth share matrix that generates high market share, but does it generate high amount of cash? High market growth uses more cash resources. Yes, yes, to both of them. However, as I mentioned earlier in the last lecture, market growth is not the only factor that uses cash. Market growth is not necessarily related to cash usage. Market share isn't necessarily related to cash generation. You may be getting more market share, but you may not be getting the amount of revenues that you would like. Multiple factors lead to profitability, and cash is not the only factor in evaluating a portfolio. All right, Firaz said, is it possible for a question mark to skip being going into a star and directly into a cash cow? The answer to that, Firaz, is no. Because a star, what's the definition of a star and what's the definition of a cash cow? It may move quickly to become a star and to become a cash cow, but it does not skip. A question mark is something new on the market. A question mark will be increasing market share. A question mark will be increasing market growth. And by doing that, it will move and transition from being a question mark into a star and get some stability and get some traction. And upon being a star for a long enough period, it will then move into a cash cow. So the answer to your question is no. It must move from a question mark to a star to a cash cow. Okay, Firaz? Thank you for the question. I encourage all of you, ask me questions. Let's make this interactive as much as we could. I actually miss the Cisco WebEx where I can call on you, I can see your names, and I can call on you to ask questions and you can answer. I do miss that. I know some persons who do live videos, they have a call in button. I don't know if I can arrange to get that feature here, but please ask questions, all right, as we go along. And some issue, this is the last slide, the issues associated with the growth share matrix. It overlooks the perils of growth. Growing as a company has lots of perils. Product market definition problems, and at times it's difficult to implement strategies. So that brings to an end the BCG matrix. I invite questions from anyone before we move on to the other part of today's lecture. Today we're gonna do one more and then we'll close off for the rest of the day. Started late, run your first lecture a little long, so this one we won't go to 12 today. Any questions from anyone? The names that I can remember: Darian, Karina, Sarah, Sarvish. Any questions? I should look and see on the WhatsApp chat and get your names. So let me do that. Right, Karina. No thanks. No question. What about Zen? Are you there? I know you have work. What about Mel? Mel, are you there? Celine. I'm seeing some names here. Tia. Any questions? Did you all understand what we did this morning? Already have Sarvish. What about Kai? Kai. Anything, Kai? I'm calling back again. Kai, Tia, Celine, Zen, Mel, Caleb. Are you there, Caleb? Or Caleb? No questions from anyone? Sly Ralph. Which name are you, sir? Which name are you? Is your name on the WhatsApp chat? Sly Ralph. You all find this interesting? So Ralph, okay, Ralph. Well, Ralph, your name not on you don't have a okay, great. Maybe I should just if I could do a video chat. No, I can't do a video chat with you guys. Okay, great. Right. So just tell me quickly, yes or no, has these management courses been enjoyable, difficult to understand? Yes or no? We could answer enjoyable or difficult. Let me get some responses from you guys because I know all of you are core science students. I am proud to be a science student as well, and management was something that came a little it came a little natural to me, I would want to say. But I know it can be a challenging in terms of the way things you have to think. Where scientists are usually precise and defined, different from what we're accustomed to. Yes, guys, okay, it is different, and I'm happy to know that it's interesting. It's actually very interesting, and it will, if you do it well, it can position you into the C suite. Can you tell me it's new but good? Still enjoyable. Tell me what is the C suite? Any one of you guys. Ralph, Sarvesh, Darian, Sarah, Karina, Firaz, Tia, Caleb, Celine. Tell me what is the C suite? I spoke about the C suite on last week, Monday, I believe. Tell me what the C suite is. Waiting to look. I'm waiting to read this. The C suite. I hope I remember this correct, but I think I mentioned this phrase or this term to you guys last week. The C suite. I can't even see somebody typing. Or you all can respond via WhatsApp as well. I'll take a look at the WhatsApp if you want. What's the C suite? You'll have 1 more minute to tell me what the C. Okay, the top execs. Correct. Correct. That's right. The CEO. The CEO is the jefe, the head honcho, the boss, the one where the buck stops. And then you have the CFO as the money person, the one who controls the finances, the one who gives out and approves funding and bonuses, etc. And then you have the COO, the Chief Operations Officer, the person who may act as the CEO at certain times. These guys are the top earners of any company. You do your management well, and you can find yourself sitting at any one of these positions. Remember, we said from the get go, from day one, last week, Monday, to be a good manager, you need not have professional competence. So, as a professionally trained pharmacist, you can move on to be the CEO of a soft drink company. Why not? You can, because your reputation will precede you. Your results oriented resume will will put you in a position to be hired no matter what your professional qualifications are. And we see it all the time. The former CEO of Pepsi was an engineer. So learn, appreciate the management teaching, get involved in it, allow it to complement your professional training and complement your science, and you will be able to enjoy far more things and widen your scope of employment and entrepreneurship in the future. So, all right, so good. We're moving on. I want to do now with today. Well, we're going to do now the balance scorecard, and I did a lecture here. This is mine. Yes, balance scorecard. All right, so we're looking at the BCS, and I did a separate lecture to explain balance scorecard. Let me see if I can pull that up. All right, balance scorecard week 3. So I'm going to read from that one from my presentation, and we'll just go through the one that Dr. Miraj did for us. So the balance scorecard. The balance scorecard is a management system. The balance scorecard is a management system. It's a tool. It's looking at your organization that focuses on your big picture strategic goals. And your strategic goals are usually, where are your strategic goals? Tell me, where are your where do strategic goals come from? Which level of management? Can anyone tell me, where do strategic goals come from? This is directly from the lectures. That's right, Reese. Great to have you. Welcome. That's right. Strategic goals come from executive management. The same group of people in the C-suite, they develop your strategic goals. And the balance scorecard looks at your strategic goals. It helps you to choose the right things to measure so that you can reach those goals. Balance scorecard. Traditionally, companies have judged their health by how much money they make. We all know this. The bottom line is money. Yes, Sarah, the top management is where your strategic goals come from. And traditionally, companies only look at how much money they make. But I'll tell you, sometimes even making the most amount of money in the world, having the greatest amount of market share, having the greatest amount of revenue generation, if you don't look at your organization holistically and from a big picture standpoint and from the points that we're going to go through in a short while, you will lead to decline. Yes, we know decline is a normal part of an organization's life, but it will be unfortunate to go into premature decline if you only look at your wealth, your revenues. Financial measures are definitely important, but they give you only part of the picture. They focus on the short term. You see, I said that? Premature. And you're trying to build an organization to stand the test of time. Can anyone call out for me some organizations that you can think of easily that have stood the test of time, that have been here for decades? List out 2 for me. Reese, since you've joined the party, tell me 1 or 2 products that you can think of, or 2 companies that have stood the test of time. Coca-Cola. Very good, Ralph. Perfect example. Coca-Cola has stood the test of time. Reese, I'm still waiting on your answer. Or any one of you guys, Karina, Firaz, Sarah, Celine, Tia, Caleb, give me some answers. Coca-Cola has been a rock in the soft drink industry in the world globally. Do you all know which Coca-Cola product is considered to be a god of products? Tell me, which Coca-Cola product is considered to be a god of products? And tell me and give me some other examples of other companies that have stood the test of time. Waiting. Reese, you left us again? What about Celine? I'm not hearing from Celine at all. Glass bottle Coke. Yes, but actually the 16-ounce Coca-Cola. No grocery, no parlor, no food vendor no doubles man, no gyro man, no pharmacy should ever be out of 16-ounce Coca-Cola. It has been a winning formula for decades. Walmart. Walmart has stood the test of time. Yes. Yes. Um, I wouldn't. It is sometimes a tricky. You can call it you can call it a a little tricky example because Walmart, they've had to close stores in the recession, um, and they've had to downsize. So what Walmart, yes, is an example. The other example I was looking for is the very thing that facilitates us doing this right now. Not Google, but Google, yes, would be an example as well. Google has been around. Google has been around. KFC. Yes, KFC and Coke, Ralph. Yeah, you have to watch your stomach. Um, Google, Google, yes, but Google has been around for just about 20 years. 20 years, yes. But there are other companies, and I was looking at Microsoft. Microsoft has been around for more than 20 years. Microsoft has been able to transcend and to deal with all the trends that occur. They have done everything. They have done software, they have done phones, they're now the biggest income earner for all of these tech companies. Tell me, anyone, Darian, since you mentioned Google, Darian, tell me what is the biggest income earner for all these tech giants? And no, it's not computers. Tell me what it is. So, Microsoft, they have done phones, they have done laptops, they do software, they do email, they do messenger platforms, they do web meetings. So Microsoft has done it all, and Microsoft has stood the test of time. Darian, I'm waiting on an answer. Risa, still not hearing from you. Okay, so I'll come back and look for the answer. Okay, so we're moving on. The name Balance Scorecard, and I want you to imagine when you hear the word scorecard, you physically think of a card, all right? But the name isn't. Yes, you can use the card to continuously monitor, yes, but it's a little more detailed than that. Comes from the idea of looking at strategic measures in addition to financial measures to get a more balanced views on performance. So the balance scorecard is where it's a balance. You have a phone. The phone isn't tilted this way, isn't tilted this way, isn't tilted this way, isn't tilted the other way. And I deliberately use the phone because it's four sides, because the balance scorecard talks about four components of view. So it needs to be balanced, flat. A ship needs to be flat for it to be able to navigate. A ship can't be leaning because it might succumb to big waves on either side. So it looks at financial as well as operational. Let me see if anyone give me some answers. Darian, I'm waiting on your answer. Reese, I'm waiting on your answers. All right. Continuing. It's this focus on both high-level strategy and low-level measures that sets the balance scorecard apart from other performance management methodologies. It takes your big, fuzzy strategic vision and breaks it down into specific, actionable steps that can be done on a day-to-day basis. So, your balance scorecard, your metrics for your balance scorecard comes from your big, fuzzy strategic vision, your vision. It looks at your organization from four different perspectives to measure its health. Each of these perspectives focus on a different side of your company, creating a balanced view of your organization. And again, look, I want you to imagine a ship, a boat. It's on the ocean, and you're moving amongst the ocean, and you stop at different ports, and you pick up certain certain loads, payloads. If you put too much at the front, it might tilt the front of the ship. You put too much on the side, you tilt the side of the ship. Put too much at the back, you may strain the engines. I want you to imagine your ship that is floating level to remain balanced. Darian said the smartphone. So no, it wasn't the smartphone. It actually was. Oh, the question was products that another example of what was it? I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that, Darian. It took too long. All right. Senior moment there. So you look at the four things that you look at are your financial position. Maybe I should let me call it in the order of how it's assessed. Your learning and growth, your internal business processes, your customers, and finally your financial. And all four comes from the context of your vision and your strategy. Learning and growth looks at your overall corporate culture, your teams. How do they learn and grow? How do are they aware and do they adapt to industry trends? Is it easy for employees to learn and collaborate and share knowledge, or is your company an entangled mess of bureaucracy? We mentioned the word bureaucracy last week. Does everyone have access to training and continuing educational opportunities? How does technology play a role in learning and growth? Are people able to use the latest technology and latest devices, or are you archaic and running old systems on yesterday's technology? What are you doing to make sure that your organization is staying ahead? So that's learning and growth. The next component is internal business processes. How efficient are you? How efficient are you conducting your everyday transactions, your everyday operations? What barriers exist? You need to sometimes take a step back and see how and process map how you do things and see how efficient it is. Your customers, look at your customers. This is number 3. Are your customers getting what they want? Are they leaving happy? Is your customer experience good? Are you getting new business? Are you growing? So looking at your customers and finally you look at your finances. Are you actually making money? We can't be doing all of those other 3 things: learning and growth, customers, internal business process, but we're not making money. Something still has to be wrong. Are you making your shareholders happy? Is the financial health of your organization good? Is it lagging? Very important. So the order of these perspectives that you look at for the balanced scorecard is in learning and growth, internal business process, the customers, and finally your financials. So it's a 4-tier approach, and in that order. So the balanced scorecard helps people to discover that these perspectives can affect each other in very surprising ways. Modern balanced scorecards show how each perspective builds on the previous one. And if you train your employees well, learning and growth, they then find innovative ways to be more efficient at business. And when they do that, your customers get a nice product or service. They get a quality product that they increase in purchase on it. They talk about, and you get increase in market share. And then when you have increase in your market share, then you have, of course, returns, great returns, increased revenue. So it's done in that it's done in that progress in that order. So the strategic objectives, for example, you want to be your objectives and your goals. Remember, I said it must be smart. You want to use have metrics to help you attain those goals. Examples of strategic objectives can be reduce injuries, improve call times, reduce injuries by from a certain amount to another amount, a metric, a figure, a quantitative figure. Increase profits. So you want to increase profits by, again, a figure, 5%, 10%, 20%. And choosing these strategic objectives is more of an art than a science. So the people who know the intimate details of your organization are very important, so get them involved early. Your human resource is your most important resource. Every organization will have different strategic objectives, but all good strategic objectives are alike in several ways. So to get your strategic objectives, I'm going to go through how to do them. Start with a verb. All your strategic objectives should start with an action word. Improve, reduce, increase, optimize, maximize, minimize. Next, be endless with your objective. It shouldn't be one-time events or one-time deadlines. It should be continuous, consistent improvement. It must be actionable. Remember, actionable from SMART. No use focusing on something that you cannot affect. Make sure you can actually get it to help your business. It must be measurable. Your metrics, actual measurable data, actual numbers and figures. And I have a slide. Well, I'm going to send this lecture to you guys. Well, Dr. Maraj is going to send it to you all. Um, looking at the interaction of the different levels of the balanced scorecard of learning and growth, internal business process, customer, and financial, and how they all interact with each other. How they all interact with these four parameters, how they can all affect each different part. Your measurables, very important. Your measurables are the final building blocks of your scorecard. These measures need goals and should be measured on a regular schedule. It's important to have a very small number of measures to track. Don't have too much things to track. Limit each strategic objective to one or two measures. So your strategic objective, one or two measures below to assess it. And finally, um, at the very end, you would know what measures that you need to be constantly looking at. That's because it's important for your overall strategy first. If you choose measures first in the process, you'll almost certainly end up measuring the wrong things. Okay? So that's it. That's Balanced Scorecard. It's a management system that's used to assess your company and to assess your company's ability to grow. The lecture that you have, if you go through the lecture, you'll see it talks about the exact same things that we did. I'll go through it quickly. Right, so it's a management tool. It balances financial and non-financial measures, financial versus operational measures, helps measure short-term as well as long-term, looks at performance drivers, contains enough data to give a good picture of the organizational performance and no more. We don't want the balanced scorecard to be long, elaborate, and unnecessary. We do not want it to be long. We do not want it to be elaborate and unnecessary. It helps with strategic focus and organizational alignment. Why do we do the balanced scorecard? To get your strategic objectives, to increase accountability. Actually works. Balanced scorecard works, and it has many examples where balanced scorecards are used to help improve organizational effectiveness and efficiency. So its focus is on the mission, what we do, the vision, what we aspire to be, the strategies, how we accomplish these goals, and the measurables. I keep talking about measurables. Always ask about measurables. You start your employment somewhere, ask what are your measurables, what are the metrics the company is using to assess its progress. Right, so there are five principles associated with strategy organization. And you would see mobilized change through executive leadership. So the strategic objectives come from executive leadership. And it's important that all of the executive leadership is they're sold into what it is being done. Your mission and your vision gives you strategic planning. It also helps develop your balanced scorecard. And you can use many things to help um, assess your measurables to assess your balanced scorecard. You see, there's another diagram on slide 10 where the environment, strategic direction gives strategic, you communicate the objectives, you create the balanced scorecard, you evaluate and adjust, right? Um, Another diagram here on 11, which gives the direction in which you must look at and apply the balanced scorecard where there's learning and growth, internal business process, customers, and your financial results. And each one now is going to go through the customer perspective, the financial perspective, the internal perspective, and the learning and growth perspective. Remember the order: learning and growth, internal business process, customers, and financial. And we always should use metrics. I am using the term again: metrics, 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 measurement, measurement, measurement. There's a quote here: if you don't know where you're going, you're probably not going to get there. And that's very true. You need to always know where you want to go. And there's some psychologists as well also speak about start with the beginning in mind, start with the end in mind. Start your your plan with a vision of what the end is supposed to look like. And that's exactly what we've been talking about in management. Always have a vision. Your vision is the final product, what you aspire to be. Based on that, you can work backward and know where you need to absolutely start from. Right? So there's some more slides just giving explanations about your initiatives and your strategies. It talks about the leadership team and how important the leadership team here not is only executive leadership. Remember, there is operational leadership, there is middle management leadership, and the core team. There always is a core team that develops the map and develop the scorecard. And understand that the balanced scorecard is reviewed regularly. It's a living document, just as your strategic plan. It's a living document and can constantly change and adjust. Make sure that we're measuring the right things and we are looking at the right metrics and what initiatives need to stay and what has to go. There's several advantages to using this approach. I think it's a very, very good system that is used to manage and measure your organization's performance. It's an excellent tool. So that there would end balanced scorecard. I will email this lecture to Dr. Marachiston to you on Blackboard or whatever medium you all use. I invite questions now from anyone. Biggest income of tech companies was the question. Okay, right. Biggest smartphone. No, the answer. Thanks, Karina. The biggest earner for all these tech companies, and I'll write it in, is cloud services, storage. Cloud services is a huge thing. Billions of dollars are spent by governments, by companies who want to store information without having to physically own equipment and infrastructure. So, cloud services, Microsoft, Google, I think Facebook as well as part of this, Apple, all have huge cloud services. And those are just the Western companies. There are large companies in the east of the world that engage in cloud services, and that's where they generate their billions, not millions, their billions. So, smartphone, Darian, smartphone, not so much as cloud services has taken control. So, I invite questions now from everyone. tell me if there are any questions about the BCG matrix, if there are any questions about the balance scorecard, I'm here to answer. I'll give you a few minutes to produce them. Any comments, any queries? Any comments, any queries? Reese, I still haven't heard from you. I don't know where you are. I'm assuming Celine isn't signed on as well. Neither is Caleb. Hopefully you all would look at the video. Hopefully you look at the lectures as well. While I'm still here, let me send this to Dr. Marad so he can ensure that you guys have this. While I wait on questions. Any questions from anyone? No questions? Cheyenne is saying that YouTube isn't allowing her to chat. Oh, so I don't understand that. But do we have any? No. Yes, we do have more topics to cover for community. We actually have the last one is the business plan. So we're gonna go in detail with the business plan next week, and that would be it. So after next week, right after we do a business plan, we could probably start doing some recovery, some review. Sorry, some review. Yes, one more. We have strategic. Based on what Dr. Marad said, the business plan is going to be individual. That should be Dr. Maharaj. Right. So let me send this off. And compose. Right. Please send this to the shit. Oh. I think my internet is keep saying not available offline. Okay. Oh no, that's fine. All right. Right, so I sent Dr. Maraj the PowerPoint lecture that I did today with balance scorecard. I don't think you would have that in your notes, so he would send it to you guys. Just checking again, no questions. Okay. Whereas what would be the format for the second in-course? Most likely it would be some MCQs. Karina asked, second in-course was already posted. Not so. I don't think so. That still has to get posted. Only the business plan, right? Yeah. So the second in-course second in course exam still to be posted. Okay. The business plan, you all could get started. Well, once you could look through your notes that Dr. Maraj gave you, and you could start to work on it. And then next week we're going to be covering business plan as well. So, any other questions from anyone before we end the stream? Before we go, I'll give you one minute again to throw in any questions, or you all could feel free to WhatsApp. Send me a message on the group or individually if you have individual questions. Right. No questions from anyone? All right. Okay. So, guys, great. Thank you all very much. We covered a lot. We have been going well. I hope that you are spending the time looking at your material, and I'm available for any assistance via WhatsApp or email. I believe you all would have had my email address is DIN. Right. So there's my email address, and you all have my phone number. So have a great day. See you all next week, and good luck in your other exam that you have to do, your test you have to do tomorrow. Right? Take care.